morning. Let's start the daily current affair discussion. So today first we'll take new tax rules for online gaming. Online game are gaining popularity in India, and so it is spreading among especially the youngsters. Some are getting benefit, some are facing the problem, but still this is gaining popularity over time in a country like India. That is why so government decided to bring the online game activity under tax law. Yes, already. Yes, online class. Okay. So CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, has come out with guidelines for tax deduction at source for online gaming platforms, defining a threshold of 100 for deducting tax for winning from online gaming. Bonus, referral bonus and incentive will also be counted towards the taxable winning on an online gaming platform. Okay. Online gaming platforms will not be required to deduct tax at the source for a player if the new that is the net winning does not exceed 100. The CBDC circular also said that bonus, referral bonus, incentive, etc. are given by the online gaming company to the intermediate users, and they are to be considered as taxable deposit under Rule 133 of the Income Tax Act. Some deposits would be money equivalent to like coins, coupons, vouchers, counters, etc. In such a situation, the equivalence in money of such deposit shall be considered as taxable deposits and would accordingly form part of the balance in the user's account on which the tax will be calculated. Also, the circular said that gaming companies can deposit the tax amount for April if not done already, along with the due for the May by June 7th to avoid penal consequences. Because these have been brought under the taxation, so they have been given time up to June 7th to deposit all their arrears without any fine, and if they fail to deposit it, then it will be they will be fined. So the deadline being or the relaxation being given up to 7 June is only to provide a scope for complying it. Those who have not paid, because the law has been made, so they should pay by that deadline fixed by the government, 7th June. If they will not pay by that time, so they will be charged with fine. So from April, May, so time has been extended till June. So in case they have not paid the income they have received in the month of April even, so they have been given the time up to 7th June to deposit, and if they deposit by 7th June, they will attract any penal provision. According to CBDC, in order to remove the difficulty in deducting tax at source under section 194B of the Act for insignificant withdrawal, it is clarified that tax may not be deducted on withdrawal on the satisfaction of all the following conditions. Net winning comprised in the amount withdrawn does not exceed 1,100 in a month. Tax not deducted on account of this concession is deducted at a time when the net winning comprised in withdrawal exceeds 100 in the same month or subsequent month, or if there is no such withdrawal at the end of the financial year and the deductor undertakes the responsibility of paying the differences if the balance in the user's account at the time of tax deduction under section 194BA of the Act is not sufficient to discharge the deduction liability calculated in accordance with Rule 133. Okay. How will net winning get calculated if a user on an online gaming platform has multiple wallets? The CBDC said that under Rule 133, every user account will be included by whatever name it is registered with the online gaming intermediary, and where any taxable deposit, non-taxable deposit, or the winning of the user is credited and withdrawal is debited. When there are multiple accounts of a user, each user account shall be considered for the purpose of calculating net winning. The deposit, withdrawal, or balance in the user account shall mean aggregate of deposits, withdrawal of balances, or balances in all user accounts. Transfer from one user account to another account maintained with the same online intermediate of the same user shall not be considered as withdrawal or deposit. However, if withdrawal or deposit will be done by one user to another user account, then any such transfer is withdrawal. The valuation will be based on fair market value of the winning in kind, except when the online gaming intermediary has purchased the winning before providing to the user, or when the online gaming intermediary manufactures such item as winning. What is the TDS provisions for online gaming? The online gaming industry has been under the lens of tax authorities for the last few years. With an aim to track such transactions, the government has inserted a new section 194BA in the Income Tax Act 1961 through Finance Act 2023, which mandated online gaming platforms to deduct income on the net winning in the person's user account. That is called the tax deduction at source. It was not there earlier, so the online gaming company are not supposed to deduct from the winner's account, but the Finance Act 2023 passed by the government authorized this. Okay. In the finance bill amendments in March, the tax department changed the date of applicability and the TDS provision for online gaming to April 1st, 2023 as opposed to an earlier proposed date in July 2023. Tax is required to be deducted at the time of withdrawal as well as at the end of the financial year as per section 194BA. TDS will be applicable at the rate of 30% on the net winning from an online gaming. While tax deduct at source, it was introduced to collect tax at the source from where an individual's income is generated. The government uses TDS as a tool to collect tax in order to minimize tax evasion by taxing the income partially or wholly at the time it is generated rather than at a later date. TDS is applicable on various incomes such as salary, interest, receipt, commission receipt, dividends, etc. TDS is not applicable to all incomes and persons from all transactions. Different TDS rates have been presented by the Income Tax Act 1961 for different payments and different category of recipient. For example, okay, so TDS is not applicable to all income and persons for all transactions. Okay, okay. TDS was from the concept that every person making specified type of payment to any person shall deduct tax at the source. Okay, okay, okay. TDS work on the concept that every person making specified type of payment to any person shall deduct tax at the rate prescribed in the Income Tax Act at the source and deposit the same into the government's account. Okay, that is what. So TDS is a advance, or it is a most updated version where so they are supposed to, so the beneficiary are supposed to get. Okay. And then the next topic is an interesting topic, European Union's Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM. In May 2023, the co-legislator at the European Commission signed the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. It has been described as a landmark tool to put a fair price on the carbon emitted in the production of carbon intensive goods that are entering the European Union and encourage cleaner industrial production in non-European Union countries. What it is? So, to put a fair price on carbon emitted during the production of carbon intensive goods such as steel, alumina, cement, so which releases huge amount of carbon during their production, and the country who are producing this without following the European Union carbon control standard, when their product is entered into European Union market, they will be taxed. The system under the regulation would be enforced from October 1st for certain goods to facilitate smooth rollout, and dialogue with third country importers could start paying the financial levy from 2026. Fine. So from the year 2026, so the exporters from non-European Union countries who don't follow this carbon emission standard will pay the taxes when their item will enter to European Union market, and that will be applicable from 2026. But CBM, its primary objective is to avoid carbon leakage. It refers to phenomenon where a European Union manufacturer move carbon intensive production to country outside the region with less stringent climate policies. Okay, so let's see where a European Union manufacturer move carbon intensive production to country outside the region with less stringent climate policy. That means European Union companies, because European Union itself has imposed strict carbon emission standards for industry to be established within that territory. Some European Union based companies, they are shifting their manufacturing base to other countries, and what they produce in those countries which are not following those stringent carbon emission standards, these products are again exported to European Union countries. So this is at a loss to the European Union country domestic company itself, because their company who are establishing manufacturing plants outside European Union territory and not following the proper carbon standard will be exporting the items they produce in their own country. Okay. So what is CBM? Its primary objective is to avoid carbon leakage. It refers to a phenomena where a European Union manufacturer move carbon intensive production to country outside the region with less stringent climate policies. In other words, replace European Union manufactured products with more carbon intensive imports. Right. So this is what. So from 2026, once the CBM is fully implemented, importers in the European Union would have to buy carbon certificate corresponding to the payable carbon price of the import and the product being produced in the continent under this carbon pricing rules. Conversely, if a non-EU producer is paying a price or tax for carbon used to produce the imported goods back home or in some other country, then the corresponding cost would be deducted from the European Union importer. The Commission, in coordination with relevant authority of the member states, would be responsible for uh, reviewing and verifying declarations as well as managing the central platform for the sale of CBM certificates. Importers would have to annually declare by May end the quantity and embedded emissions in goods imported into the region in the preceding year. The idea here is to avoid the possibility of carbon leakage alongside encouraging producers in non-European Union countries to green their manufacturing process. Moreover, it will ensure a level playing field between imports and European Union products. This could also form part of the continent's broader European Green Deal, which endeavored to achieve 55% reduction in carbon emissions compared to 1990 level by 2030 and become a climate neutral continent by 2050. Did not the European Union already have a mechanism in place? Yes, the gradual introduction of the CBAM would be a parallel with the phasing out of the allocation of free allowances given out under the EU emission trading system, which was also aimed at supporting the decarbonization of the region's industries. The European that ETS had set up a cap on amount of greenhouse gas emissions that can be released from industrial installations in certain sectors. Allowances were to be brought, okay, on the open, decentralized ETS trading market. However, certain allowances were given out for free to prevent carbon leakage. Through effective in addressing the issue of leakage, the European Union concluded it damped the incentive and invest in greater production at home and abroad. This was because of the tendency to rely on for allowances to meet operational requirements and obligations. Thus, the idea to have an import-based tariff instead. That means So this have two important things. The first thing that what European Union justify that, so this the country who are not following stringent carbon emission standard, so through this implementation, so they will be now following the carbon emission standard. And second is, this will save the European domestic manufacturers from competition with the cheaper products being imported from outside, those who are not following proper carbon emission standards. Okay. Why are countries audit? CBAM could initially apply to imports of certain goods and selected precursors whose production carbon intensive and are at risk of leakage, such as the cement, iron and steel, aluminium, fertilizer, electricity and hydrogen sector. Eventually, once fully phased in, it could capture more than half of the emission in ETS covered sectors. In 2021, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development has concluded that Russia, China, and Turkey were most exposed to the mechanism. Considering the level of exports, the Union in this sector, it stated India, Brazil, and South Africa could be most affected among the developing countries. Mozambique could be the most exposed least developing country. CBM impact on India. Important to note, country in the European Union combined represent about 14% of India's export mix for all products, steel and aluminum included. India's export in the pipe segment represented less than 2% of the total export to European Union between 2019 and 2021. However, while the impact of the regulation may appear limiting, its long-term effect can be severe for multiple factors. First, European Union being India's third largest trade partner, and given the latter's projected growth trajectories, the size of the export, including the CBAM series sector, will invariably rise. Secondly, CBAM score would be secured to expand beyond its current ambit to include other sectors as well. Given India's products have a higher carbon intensity than its European counterpart, the carbon tariff imposed will be proportionately higher, making Indian exports substantially uncompetitive internationally. Okay. International climate policies, including CBAM, will compel other countries to impose similar regulations, eventually translating to a significant impact on India's trading relationship and balance of payment. About European Union emission trading system. European Union emission trading system was aimed at supporting the decarbonization of the regional industry. The ETS had set up a cap on the amount of greenhouse gas emission that can be released from industrial installations in certain sectors. Although ETS was effective in addressing the issue of leakage, it dampened the incentive to invest greener production at home and abroad. The gradual introduction of the CBAM could be in parallel with the phasing out of the allocation and free allowances given under the European Union Emission Trading System ETS. Okay, this have two impact. One is it will encourage non-European Union countries for the major manufacturers. Then the next topic is how the World Health Organization would could fight future pandemics. Negotiations on new rules for dealing with the pandemics are underway at the World Health Organization with the target date of May 2024 a legally binding agreement to be adopted by the United Nations Health Agency's 194 member country. The new pact is a priority for WHO chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, who called it a generational commitment that we will not go back to old cycle of panic and neglect. It seeks to shore off the world's defense against new pathogens following the COVID-19 pandemic that has killed nearly 7 million people. What is the so-called pandemic treaty? The WHO already has binding rules known as the International Health Regulations, which in 2025 set out countries' obligations where public health events have the potential to cross borders. These include advising the WHO immediately of a health emergency and measures to trade and travel. Adopted after the 2002-2003 SARS COVID outbreak, okay, severe acute respiratory syndrome outbreak, these regulations are still considered appropriate for regional epidemics such as Ebola but inadequate for global epidemics. These regulations have already been reviewed in the wake of the COVID-19. For the new, more wide-reaching pandemic occurred, member states have agreed that it could be legally binding for those who sign up, overcoming early reservations from the United States. It would be only the second such health accord after the 2003 Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, okay, a treaty which aimed to reduce smoking via taxation and rules on labeling and advertising. However, the proposed treaty has come under fire on social media, mostly from right-wing critics, warning it could lead to countries ceding authority to the WHO. The body strongly refutes that, stressing that governments are leading the negotiations and are free to reject the accord. How do countries view the pact? The European Union, which proposed the accord, is seen as the biggest backer. Developing countries, especially in Africa, are keen to use the negotiation to secure better access to vaccines. Following allegations, uh, uh, हो କେତେବେଳେ ଆସିବ ବସ୍ ସାଢ଼େ ଗୋଟେରୁ ଦୁଇଟା ଫ୍ରି ତାପରେ ପୁଣି କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଅଛି ନହେଲେ ତାକୁ ଗୋଟେ କାମ ତା ଖରାବେଳଟା କାହିଁ ଆସିବ ତାକୁ ପୁଣି 5ଟା ବେଳକୁ ଆସିବ ହେଲା ଖରାବେଳେ କାହିଁ ଆସିବ ମୁଁ 5ଟାରୁ 6ଟା ଫ୍ରି ଥିବି ଆସିବ okay so how did it work it is not yet clear how the 2005 regulations and the new pandemic accord might fit together. One suggestion is that they could be complementary so that existing rules apply to local outbreaks with the new rules kicking in if the WHO declares a pandemic, something it does not currently have a mandate to do. It is also not yet clear that what happens if the measures are not followed. A co-chair of the talk said it could be preferable to have a peer review process rather than sanction non-compliant states. But other reforms are in the work. Separate talk on reforms in the 2005 rules are taking place with country posing some amendments. So Washington's initial proposal aimed to boost transparency and grant the WHO quicker access to outbreaks sites. China did not allow WHO-led expert team to visit the COVID-19 epicenter Wuhan, but the WHO said Beijing is still withholding clinical data from early cases that may hold clue about the origin of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Negotiations privately grumbled about overlap between the two sets of talk, and a joint meeting that clarify their agenda is planned. Fine. Then the next topic is because you know in the last that about the pandemic issue. So in future such a number of pandemics are going to increase, and that is why so global efforts should start prior. So we are keeping ourselves ready for any such incident in future to save humanity from any other unseen enemy, fine, in the form of a virus which is not visible to the eye. Then the People's Biodiversity Register (PBR), the national campaign for updation and verification of the People's Biodiversity Register, has launched in Goa. About the national campaign for updation and verification of the People's Biodiversity Register, the campaign was launched by the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It was launched with the objective of documentation and preservation of India's rich biological diversity. About People's Biodiversity Register, the People's Biodiversity Register serves as a comprehensive record of various aspects of biodiversity, including the conservation of habitats, preservation of plant races, folk varieties and cultivars, domesticated stocks and breed of animals and microorganisms. As per the Biological Diversity Act 2002, Biodiversity Management Committee are created for promoting conservation, sustainable use and documentation of biological diversity by local bodies across the country. Fine. The Biodiversity Convention has been constituted by the local body in the state and union territories and are entrusted with preparation of the People's Biodiversity Register in consultation with the local communities. Okay, so that because biodiversity being a very important topic right now, so this biodiversity register is will definitely give a push to it. Then the news of the Senegal. Okay, Indian Home Minister Amit Shah said the upcoming inauguration of the new Parliament building on 28th May will see the Prime Minister Narendra Modi install a historic spectre from the Tamil Nadu next to the Lok Sabha Speaker's seat. Known as the Senegal, derived from the Tamil word Semai, meaning righteousness. According to an official document, the spectre is a significant historical symbol of independence as it signifies the transfer of power from the British to the Indians. Features: the Senegal was crafted by a renowned jeweler in Madras, Bhumidi Bangaru Chetty. This impressive spectre measures 5 feet in length and features a Nandi bull at the top, representing the concept of justice. Historical significance: Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru accepted Senegal at around 10:45 p.m. on 14th August 1947 through the Adhinam of Tamil Nadu. It was a sign of shift of power from the British to the people of our country. According to the official document, just before independence, Lord Mountbatten, the last Viceroy of India, asked Nehru the ceremony that should be followed to symbolize the transfer of power from India to Indian hands. The soon-to-be Prime Minister went to consult Sri Rajgopalachari, the last Governor General of India, who told him about a ceremony performed during the Cholo dynasty in which the transfer of power from one king to the another was sanctified with blessed by high priests. The symbol for transfer of power used was the handover of the Senegal from one king to his successor. The newly crowned rule could be given the Senegal with an order to rule its subjects fairly and justly. Okay, so and it has been handed over to Nehru by the British Lord Mountbatten, and it has been kept in the museum and in the new Parliament building. So this will be placed next to the Speaker after the inauguration of the new Parliament building of India. Okay. The next topic is the Chapar Wildlife Sanctuary. Recently, the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change proposed to designate the Tal Chapar Sanctuary as eco-sensitive zone. The Tal Chapar Wildlife Sanctuary is located in Sujangarh Tehsil of Rajasthan's Churu district. It is situated on the border of the Great Indian Thor Desert. It was established as a reserve area in 1962 and was given the status of a sanctuary in 1966. So the sanctuary is home to over 4,500 black bucks, chinkara, and more than 250 species of birds, including migratory raptors. It is a distinct shelter for the most graceful antelope seen in the India, the black buck. Okay, so about this eco-sensitive zone, in order to manage and conserve biodiversity across the protected area, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change notified eco-sensitive zone around the protected areas. Fine. In the year 2002, it was decided that an area around each protected area requires to be notified as eco-sensitive zone for creating a buffer as further protection around protected area under Environment Protection Act 1986. Eco-sensitive zones could go up to 10 kilometers around a protected area. The Supreme Court on 3rd June 2022 modified its previous order mandating a minimum 1 kilometer eco-sensitive zone around national park or wildlife sanctuaries. Okay. Then forum shopping. Recently, Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, codenamed forum shopping. What is forum shopping? When litigants or lawyers attempt to deliberately move their case to a particular judge or court where they think the judgment could be more favorable, they are said to be forum shopping. The practice involves choosing a court that is likely to provide the most favorable outcome rather than following the standard legal processes. Lawyers think about which is the right forum to approach as part of their litigation strategy. For example, one could directly approach the Supreme Court via a public interest litigation case instead of the concerned High Court because the issue could get more eyeballs. Okay. When the advocate select the court where the judgment will be delivered, it is called forum shopping. Okay. Issue with forum shopping, it cited the injustice caused to the other party in the case and overburdening some court over others and interfering with judicial processes. It circumvent the normal course of the justice and may increase the workload on the courts, on a particular court. Okay. So a number of writers recognize that forum shopping may lead to an undesirable lack of decision uniformity. Fine. And it has no sanction in the law and gives unfair advantage to one party. Supreme Court judgment on forum shopping, that Chetak Construction Limited versus Om Prakash in 1998, a litigant cannot be permitted choice of the forum, and that every attempt at forum shopping must be crushed with a heavy hand. Union of India and others versus the Cipla Limited in 2017, the Supreme Court laid down Okay, so Jeta Construction Limited vs Om Prakash in 1998, a litigant cannot be permitted choice of the forum and that every attempt at forum shopping must be crushed with heavy hand. Union of India versus OR versus Cipla India case, SC laid down a functional test to be adopted for forum shopping. Vijay Kumar Ghai versus State West Bengal Supreme Court termed forum shopping as a disreputable practice by the court that has no sanction and paramountcy in law. Okay, then the next topic is the small modular reactor. Science and Technology Minister recently said that India is working on a new technology, such as the small modular reactors. What are the small modular reactors? They are advanced nuclear reactors that have a power capacity up to 300 megawatt per unit, which about one third of the generating capacity of the traditional nuclear power reactors. The small modular reactor, which can produce a large amount of low carbon electricity, are okay. Okay, so they are advanced nuclear reactors that have a power capacity of up to 300 megawatt per unit, which about one third of the generating capacity of traditional nuclear power reactor. The SMR, which can produce a large amount of low carbon electricity, are small physically, a fraction of the size of the conventional reactor, power reactor. So modular, making it possible for system and components to be factory assembled and transported as a unit to location for installation. Okay, so harnessing nuclear fusion to generate heat. Okay, reactors harnessing nuclear fusion to generate heat to produce energy. It has relatively small physical footprint and reduced capital investment. It also offers distinct safeguards, security, and non-proliferation advantages. Okay, they can be used to power generation, the power for power generation. Okay, okay, process heat, desalination, and other industrial use. Okay, SMR can offer a carbon-free clean energy. Okay, Then smart city mission in news, more than 90% of the funds, okay, allocated under the smart city mission have been utilized now, and 73% of the projects have been completed. Okay, about smart city mission, it was launched in 2015. Okay, so so it was launched in 2015, aimed at providing core infrastructure, clean and sustainable environment, okay, and a decent quality of life to their citizens through the application of smart solutions. Okay, Indian Ministry of Urban Development is responsible for. Okay, so the mission aims to drive economic growth. Okay, the focus is on sustainable and inclusive development by creation of replicable model which act as lighthouse to other, okay, aspiring cities. 100 cities have been selected to be developed as smart city through the two-stage competition. Okay, community at core, more from less. Okay, cooperative and comparative federalism, integrative innovation, sustainability, technology that means not the goal, convergence of so many things. So these are the mission is open to a centrally sponsored scheme. There is no standard definitions of or template of a smart city. The six fundamental principles. So enumerate the reason behind the loss of biodiversity in an alarming rate recent years. What could be the potential impact of biodiversity loss on human health? The term biodiversity refers to the variety of life on Earth at all its level, from okay. The term biodiversity refers to the variety of life on Earth at all its level, from genes to ecosystem, and can encompass the evolutionary, ecological, and cultural process that sustain life. According to Living Planet report by the Worldwide Fund for Nature, in the last 50 years, there has been a 65%, a 16% decline in the wildlife population of mammals, birds, amphibians, reptiles, and fish globally. Researchers believe that Earth is witnessing its sixth mass extinction event has termed it the biological annihilation. The main reason behind the loss of biodiversity and eliminated in recent years are change in land use, the degradation and conversion of forest to alternative land use, such as agriculture, is one of the leading cause of biodiversity loss, especially in the tropics. The projected global population of 8.9 billion people by 2050. Okay, so the degradation of urban forest to alternative land use, habitat fragmentation, okay, and destruction, factors such as development of agricultural practices, reduced resources such as food, water, air quality, mining, pollution, and activity related to urbanizations are leading to habitat fragmentation. Nutrient loading over the past 4 decades, nutrient loading has emerged as one of the most important drivers of ecosystem change in terrestrial freshwater. Okay, Then natural disasters, natural catastrophes such as volcano, wildfires, flood, hurricanes, drought, epidemic, tsunami, etc. also cause loss of biodiversity. Climate change, the risk of species extinction increases with every degree of warming in the ocean, rising temperature. Okay, so risk of extinction increase with every degree in warming in the ocean, rising temperature increase the risk of irreversible loss of marine and coastal ecosystem. Okay, coral have nearly halved in the last 150 years. Overexploitation of resources. Overexploitation remain a serious threat to many species and population. Among the most commonly overexploited species of group of species are marine fish and invertebrates, tree and animals hunted for meat. How biodiversity loss can impact human health. Biodiversity is the basis for much needed medicines. Natural compounds found in frogs, plants, and many other species provide the basis for many of our medicines. Paclitaxel, a drug used to treat cancer, derived from the back of a Pacific tree. According to UN's Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, around 70% of the medicines are based on nature. Okay, so nutrition biodiversity are linked at every level. However, the introduction of crop varieties and cropping pattern that affect biodiversity. Impact on future drug discovery, loss of species can further impact further drug discovery as it could lead to loss of molecules on which researchers are yet to be done. Okay, rise in infectious diseases. Okay, human health and planetary health are incredibly intertwined. Hence, it is the responsibility of mankind to save the planet and take some crucial steps to prevent the loss of biodiversity. The key targets agreed upon at the COP 15 and SDG goal 14 and 15 must be implemented to maintain the biodiversity. Then consider the following statement regarding small modular reactor. They are advanced nuclear reactors with power generating capacity higher than traditional nuclear power reactor. It is incorrect. So they can be factory assembled and transported as a unit to be located for installation. That is right. Option is 2. Consider the following statement with reference to Tal Chappar Sanctuary is situated on the border of Great Indian Third Desert. There is a grassland ecosystem. So here both are correct. Okay. The term Sengol is in use. Consider the following statement regarding Sengol. It represents a symbolic gestures. GPU 57, also known as the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. It is a GPS guided earth penetrating strike weapon for use against hard and deeply buried target. It is developed by the Defense and Development Organization and used by the Indian Air Force. Here, so only one is correct but two is incorrect. And the Insurance Information Bureau of India recently approached the Cyberabad police station that hackers from Russia encrypted their data through ransomware attack. What's the following statement regarding the Insurance Information Bureau of India? IIB has been established by the Insurance Development Authority of India. Okay, it acts as the sole repository and analytics body of the entire insurance sector in India. In this case, both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay. This way today's discussions is over. Keep watching regularly to update yourself on the developments, and that will be helpful for you for different upcoming examinations. Thank you.